Last time we played one of the weaker entries in the Super Nintendo library. Today, I wanted to look at one of the best. Super Metroid, one of the all-time greats, one of the greatest games ever made, one of the standout titles of the Super Nintendo. Not just my favorite Metroid game of all time, not just my favorite Super Nintendo game, or one of my favorite, but honestly, probably my all-time favorite game, period. This is legit, honestly, better than the critically acclaimed Hollow Knight, which came out a couple of years back. This is better than the sequels, Fusion, the Prime games, Trilogy. 3D could not stand up to Super Metroid. This game, from start to finish, is just pure sex. It is the greatest thing ever made. One of the best Nintendo games of all time, for sure. An absolute must play for any gamer out there. There is, even most Nintendo haters tend to acknowledge that Super Metroid is one of the best games of all time. Like, this is the game that a lot of the Nintendo detractors, the pretendos, love to weaponize against Nintendo. Like, why aren't more Nintendo games like this? Well, those other games are still great. I still enjoy, the Pikmins, the Metroid Primes, the Fusions, but today we're celebrating everything that Super Metroid did right. And man, did it do a lot right. Most interestingly, I did not play the original games when they first came out. This is the first Metroid game I played, and yet the opening title sequence is so well executed, so interesting, so engaging, so gorgeous artwork, just great, telling you everything you need to know, while still keeping an air of mystery and foreboding that I think no other game in history has been able to match. Like, watching this sequence, like seeing Samus stare at you through her helmet, is one of the coolest images I've ever seen in my life. Like, I legit, for a long time, had a phone case with Samus's face from that still shot on it, because it's that ingrained in my psyche. It's that amazing. As good as that cinematic is, though, once it ends, once the gameplay starts, you're playing the game. Like, from start to finish, you're doing nothing but exploring, shooting, discovering power-ups, fighting bosses, and trying to realize your goal. And one of the things that really sticks out to me about this in my most recent playthrough is that there's nothing in the game that really indicates exactly what your goal is or what the end game is. I remember playing this as a kid and just wandering around the map, trying to figure out what to do, like going every single direction, trying to find every item, trying to discover each room, trying to discover the path, trying to discover the path forward, trying to discover the Super Metroid, which I knew I was supposed to be looking for, but I had no idea where it was. I knew I had to find Ridley. I had to find this giant space dragon, but I didn't know quite where he was. And so, yeah, it's an entire journey just into the underground of Planet Zebes, discovering new things, new environments, crazy new obstacles to overcome, crazy enemies, using all of your abilities in really novel, creative ways, and really learning how the game works. It just blends together fabulously. Like, this is legit, from start to finish, like one of... The entire game can be finished in about an hour and a half. Like, that's around my best time. Like, an hour and 28 minutes, right? I know people can beat it faster than that, but most people take about 6 hours in their first playthrough. I believe for my first playthrough, it was about 6 hours and 29 minutes for my first playthrough. I wish I could verify that. I probably could, because I posted about it on a forum when I did it. It was a spectacular feeling like, blowing through this for the first time, discovering all the tricks, discovering all the weird aspects, going around in circles endlessly, getting lost in Meridia. I remember explicitly not being able to figure out the tube, not being able to figure out how that worked. I don't even remember how I eventually figured that out. I think I legit just fell down there and then just freaked out when I couldn't get back up. It's honestly kind of disrespectful to say this game has iconic moments, because the entire game is an icon. Like, just the way you descend into Zebus, the way there are no enemies around until you accomplish certain tasks, the way enemies suddenly appear, the first bosses, the second boss, that sense of discovery. It never lets up. From start to finish, you're constantly being bombarded with these incredible, iconic moments in gaming. Like, legit, the entire game is like what every game tries to be at its absolute best, and no other game can match it. Like, I'm being real here. I legit felt, playing it again, that this is still the best Metroid-like game ever made. The best Metroid game, the best game in this specific genre, period, because it has an incredibly high skill ceiling. It has a compelling world design, level design, combat, abilities, character movement, character mechanics. There's so much here that keeps the game feeling fresh, and a big reason why I personally keep coming back to it so often is because it's a treat to blow through this game as fast as you possibly can. Like I said, I do casually, I don't want to say like speedrun, but casually speedrun this game just to see how fast I can get through it. And I do get good times, I do get solid times. I'm not terrible by any means, but I mean, the game has such variety when it comes to speedrunning. The things you can do, the secret tricks that a lot of players would not figure out on their own, that you have to be told, that you have to train to use in these specific situations. The crazy open-endedness. The game is structured in a way where you can basically go anywhere you want, provided you have the proper items, or even essentially what your task is. The point of the game is to kill 4 specific bosses, and then head down and fight Mother Brain. That's it. That's all you really need to do. But the game is so much more than that. There's so much more going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's fans of Hollow Knight, fans of how that had felt completely open-ended, like, they would be completely blown away by this, because this is even more impressive on a technical level, in part due to the game's age, but in part also because of just how dynamic it is, how fluid it is, how gorgeous it is. Like, even today, I think the sprite work and animations are just stunning. I much prefer them over Fusion's cartoony look. Like, everything in this game feels like it came together to create a real masterpiece, and that is absolutely something special. So to put it in the absolute most simple terms, this game is a masterpiece. I'm not sure how often I can repeat myself here, but this really is probably, not even just my favorite Nintendo game of all time, my favorite Super Nintendo game, one of the best games ever made, period. Like, I think this is one of those titles that's in pretty much everyone's top 10, at least, if not top 5, or even the top spot, you know what I mean? Like, anyone who's played it can tell you that this game is stellar. It really sticks out, and even today, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, I would say it is absolutely worth playing. If you're a younger player, if you've never checked out this series or this entry, or aren't sure of what to try next, this is a great entry point. Like, not only for Super Metroid or Metroid in general, these more hardcore Nintendo games in general, but
like action games, like just pure the kind of action that just the kind of top-notch action that people want out of this kind of game. Like, this is the quintessential Metroid-like exploration game. It's so well handled, so well executed. It's perfectly paced, so no matter what your skill level, you'll find some enjoyment out of it. I cannot recommend it enough. This is a true 10 out of 10. Best game ever made. Super Metroid is a masterpiece, and the best game ever made. Hey everyone, Cody Lee here. I hope you enjoyed my video gushing about Super Metroid. Did you know this is one of my favorite games of all time? I'm not sure if I made it clear in my video or not, but anyway, check out my website at blackcatbooks.org. Check out my books. I have links on the website. I talk about, games, what I'm playing now, what I'm reading, current events, current situations, all sorts of good stuff. So be sure to check it out on my website at blackcatbooks.org. Thank you. I will see you all next time. Hey everyone, Cody Lee here. I hope you enjoyed my video gushing about Super Metroid. Did you know this is one of my favorite games of all time? I'm not sure if I made it clear in my video or not, but anyway, check out my website at blackcatbooks.org. Check out my books. I have links on the website. I talk about, games, what I'm playing now, what I'm reading, current events, current situations, all sorts of good stuff. So be sure to check it out on my website at blackcatbooks.org. Thank you. I will see you all next time.
You need to feed your brain, not your ass.